What's happening, people? Welcome to Love and Life. As you know, hopefully you know, that we are big advocates of wealth preservation. Now, 4 years ago, we started collecting precious metals. This right here is a 1 ounce silver American Eagle. It is the most liquid silver coin in the world. You can go anywhere in the world and trade this for the currency in that country. Now, 4 years ago, when we started, this 1 ounce coin of silver cost 17 of these. Now, in 2024, this 1 ounce coin cost around, with premium, about 30 of these. So it's gone up quite a bit. And the thing is, with fiat currency and with precious metals, you could burn this and it'll melt and it will still be silver. You could burn this and it'll burn to ashes and be nothing. So when it comes to wealth preservation, this fiat currency means nothing. This means a lot, because gold and silver, when it comes down to it, is God's money. It always has been. Gold and silver have stood up against fiat currency, every single fiat currency throughout the history of the world. And gold and silver have always come out on top, where fiat currency throughout history has always failed. So here's a little illustration of the purchasing power of the American dollar. What it used to be, and pretty much what it is now. Supposedly it's 95 to 98% loss of our dollar's purchasing power. But if the dollar really has lost 95% to 98% of its purchasing power, it's worth nothing then. Why even say that? Just say the dollar is worth nothing. Now, the reason why I had to fold that dollar is because I could rip this paper, but if I rip this, consequences. Be having people busting down my door, taking me to the clink. So anyway, I just want to talk about a few things here. When it comes to our dollar, some notes I took down, some articles. I'm sure by now most people know what BRICS entails. It's BRICS, and BRICS is an intergovernmental organization comprising of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. There's other countries that have joined with BRICS: Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the United Arab Emirates. I think that's how you pronounce it. But recently I just read an article saying that Venezuela is now joining BRICS. So Venezuela ditches the US dollar for oil trade. Boom. All right. So some people are thinking, what's the big deal about that? Well, Venezuela possesses the greatest oil reserves in the world, estimated to be more than 300 billion barrels. It's a big deal. And the United States imports from Venezuela $4 billion worth of oil, and that was just in 2023. So in 2023, we gave Venezuela $4 billion for oil. The total countries that have joined with BRICS is now, I think it's 10 countries now. And I'm sure by the end of the year, they'll probably add on another, who knows, 5 to 10 other countries. And what their goal is, every single one of these countries want to get away from depending on the US dollar. They want to go ahead and do their own thing with their currencies, whatever kind of currency they're going to use. That's why a lot of these central banks are buying up tons of gold. And they're buying up this gold is because they are going, BRICS, they are going to have a currency that's backed by gold. Now, whether it's a digital currency or some fiat currency, most likely it will be digital because that's where we're headed. But it's going to be backed by gold. So these central banks are buying up gold by the tons. Russia's buying gold, China's buying gold. And what it comes down to is this. Whoever owns the most gold gets a seat at the head of the table. And everybody else who owns gold gets a seat at the table with the one who owns the most. Everyone else who does not own gold or any precious metals are going to be the ones that serve those who are sitting at the table. So that's why precious metals is so important and such a big thing, is because it's not money that makes the world go round when it comes down to it, because fiat currency is fickle. It's gold, it's precious metals that make the world go round. Right now, silver is at probably 27 to 28 bucks an ounce for silver. But that is suppressed by the governments of the world. And silver should be worth a lot more than the spot price of 28 bucks an ounce. Silver should be up there along with gold, if not more, for a simple reason. Silver is used in everything that we use. It's in our TVs, it's in our phones, it's in our cars, it's in just about every single electronic device we have around the world. Silver and copper, that's another industrial metal. Yeah, copper is an industrial metal. It's not so much a precious metal, but it's still worth something. And there's a lot of copper in different things also. That's why, when people's houses get robbed or houses are abandoned, you got these guys, they'll come in there, demolish it, and take all the copper pipes out of there, because copper is worth, right now, I think it's worth like $4.50 a pound or something like that. $4.50 a pound. But anyway, so silver plays a big part in our lives, and gold really isn't in any electronic devices. Gold is basically the top of precious metals. Gold is just gold, where silver, platinum, rhodium, copper, they're all used for industrial things. And silver should be way up there above gold, but it's not right now, because if they did put the spot price at what silver is really worth, let's say silver's worth $3,000 an ounce, you know how much we would be paying for our phones and our TVs and in our cars and things like that, because silver would be so expensive. They'd have to raise the price on everything else, but it's still good to have it. So when it comes to our dollar, getting back to BRICS and these other countries that want to steer away from the American dollar, and I've said it before, I believe our government, the American government, just wants to get away from the American dollar also. And that's why we're going through this high inflation and just everything that's going on with our banks and things like that. It's almost like it's like that movie Weekend at Bernie's, where if you've never seen the movie, just real quick synopsis. So these two guys are working at this company, and they find out at this company there's fraud going on. There's like embezzlement going on. So their boss, who lives in the Hamptons, they decide, we got to tell our boss about this, not knowing it was their boss that was embezzling the money. And before the guys get to the Hamptons to let their boss know what's going on with the finances of the company, these mafia guys who the boss made a deal with, if I remember correctly, they kill him. The two employees get there. They find their boss dead, and the boss, it's a Friday, and the boss had planned a big party at his house that weekend. So they find their boss dead, and people keep on coming into the house because there's going to be a big weekend party at Bernie's. And so these two guys have to make it look like Bernie is still alive. So they put some sunglasses on him, a little hat, and they move him around, one on each side of him, and they act like he's drunk or something like that, and they have to walk him around. And so that way nobody blames them for being the killers of Bernie. So they got to make it seem like, Bernie's still alive while this big party's going on for the weekend. But anyway, it's kind of a funny movie. It's a little silly. So basically, that's what the American dollar is. The American dollar is Bernie. It's dead. The other two guys who are trying to keep this American dollar look alive is the government and the Federal Reserve. So you got the government on one side, the Fed on the other side, holding up the dollar with sunglasses and a hat on while America's partying, acting like nothing's really going on, and the dollar is dead, and nobody's realizing, hey, this dollar is dead. It means nothing anymore. And so, and that's one of the scary things is that's the thing about fiat currency, is the reason why it's a fiat currency is because it's worth whatever the government or the Fed tells you it's worth. It's not backed by anything anymore. If they tell you it's worth $20, it's worth $20. But really, it's just a piece of paper worth nothing. Denim and cotton. But anyway, so the thing about the Federal Reserve, I don't think a lot of people know. The Federal Reserve is like a quasi-government, and they answer to nobody. They don't answer to the federal government. They don't answer to Congress. They basically have a blank check to do whatever they want to do, and that's the scary thing. So that's a whole nother video. Anyway, just to get back on a few of these articles. I read an article this morning that said the World Economic Forum says 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs. And basically what that is an acronym for is Central Bank Digital Currency. So World Economic Forum says 98% of central banks are preparing to launch CBDCs as finance enters its next phase. So we're going to digital currency, and it's happening very soon. And there's a lot of negatives about digital currency, more than there are positives about digital currency. But you're going to hear the positives from the governments of the world of what a great thing digital currency is going to be, blah, blah, blah. They'll definitely entice people in the beginning to start transferring their fiat currency for digital currency. So it'll be an enticement. You might get a little bit more in digital currency if you relinquish your fiat currency and whatnot. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So when it comes down to it, 2020, from 2020 until 2024, this is inflation. Gasoline has gone up 48%. Groceries have gone up 22%. Eating out, restaurants, fast food has gone up 21%. Baby food is up 30%. Pet food is up 23%. We go buy our cat food. We cannot believe how much cat food is now. It's ridiculous. And kitty litter, off the charts. Rent has gone up 21%. Electricity, 28%. Natural gas, 27%. Used cars have gone up 21%. Airfare has gone up 32%. And public transportation has gone up 23%. But the average weekly earning of the American people has gone up 4%. How does that keep up with inflation? If your weekly earning has only gone up 4% in the last 4 years, but everything else is 20% and above, that is unbelievable. So, silver, gold, I recommend that you start collecting a little bit now while you can, because those who do have some silver and some gold, when the finances do change, when currency does change, you'll have a leg up more than most people when it comes to transfer to a digital currency, because you're going to have something that's solid, that is worth more than, it'll be worth more than the currency they're doling out. Because when it comes down to it, the digital currency, though they say it's going to be backed by gold, it might only be for a very short time. And then they're just going to keep on throwing out zeros and ones to infinity. Because right now, I think banks only hold maybe probably 3 to 5% of actual cash within the banks. So everything else is just numbers. It's just zeros and ones. That's all it is. There's a lot of people that have had their bank accounts closed. I've read stories of coin shops, where coin shops, their banks are dropping coin shop accounts by the tens, because for no reason. And I've seen a few videos on YouTube. It's kind of interesting. You should look that up. And they have outlawed, they have made gold illegal to own before in America. So it's been illegal to own gold in America before. Everybody turned in their gold. I think it was $25 an ounce back then. It was back in the 30s or 40s, something like that. I should have looked it up, but anyway, it was like $25 an ounce back then. And then the president at that time, once everybody turned in their gold, he raised the price to like 30, $35 an ounce, $40 an ounce, or something like that. So they can come and confiscate your silver or gold, your weapons, your ammunition, whenever they want. That's what the government can do. So, but in the meantime, get what you can get. And we hear all kinds of shortages going on. There's a shortage of beef. There's a shortage of baby formula. There's a shortage of eggs. There's shortages of shortages, and until there's nothing left. So do your best to get whatever you need. Just don't worry about if there's a shortage on beef one week and then there's a shortage on eggs the next week. Just know that there's a shortage of everything. Everything is disappearing. So do your best to get out there and fill your home, your storage, whatever you have to fill it. So that way you are your own store. Be your own bank, be your own store. It's that simple. That's what we have to do. Have cash on hand, have food on hand, water on hand, medications, go out and get those. Tylenol, Advil, whatever you need to get. But I'll make this short because I don't want to ramble on and on. But the most important thing right now is that we are headed for a very bad summer when it comes to inflation. It's going to get worse. I'm sure our fuel prices are going to be over probably $5 to over $5 a gallon. So it's good to start stocking up on those. And I would suggest that just keep on shopping for your home and filling those cupboards and filling the basement and filling your storage units with food, and have at least 6 months to a year's worth of food and medications, because we have no idea what's going to happen here pretty soon. So act as if, and you should be all right. Anyway, thanks for listening to me ramble on. Give a like, hit that subscribe button, share it please, and peace out.